physically, but just in case. Close, close, close. Okay. Okay. And just, I guess we're live now. Yeah, we are. Oh, I can't hear you. Turn off and on. Yep, you're back.
Yeah. I don't know what. Right. Yeah, so the only thing I think for the purposes of today, just get it like tweaked a little bit. But I think eventually we're going to actually want to do the development inside the container because we've basically built this project so it run the development environment runs in a container. The
Yep.
production environment runs in a container, but you actually at the moment don't develop inside the container. So it means annoy little weird and wonderful things like um, syntax highlighting might not work because it's relying on stuff like bundle installed stuff, Ruby being installed, etc., which is inside the container, but you're working outside the container. Um,
Okay.
so if ESLint just relies on you having the ESLint extension installed, then we're all good. But if it relies on npm and all this other stuff, then we should probably try and get it working inside the container rather than outside the container.
No, it works like if you have the ESLint plugin installed on VS Code, that's basically going to lint you at runtime, just in time. And you don't need to, oh, maybe you do, maybe
So I
not.
wouldn't be surprised if it needs like npm under the hood or something like that, but I don't know.
I'm not really sure because
Because in your ESLint config, there's references to like npm packages and stuff, right?
I don't remember.
So I think that it's going to need. I reckon maybe we should just do it inside the container.
But before that, I'm curious, why is there basically all the code is inside of a subdirectory on the contributors directory?
So yeah, it's an interesting conversation, and I guess we still need to kind of figure it out. So the idea was that I didn't want like things to do with Runway, which is the deployment platform,
Yeah.
things to do with Docker, things to do with like I didn't want everything inside the Rails app. I wanted the Rails app on
Yeah.
its own. Now, as it goes, we've now created the View app, and the View app is in with the Rails app anyway. So I think that either we should pull the View app out as well, so that you've got like the Rails app, the View app, and then all the other peripheral stuff all separate. Or if we're going to keep the Rails app and the View app bundled, then maybe we just bundle like everything in the root. But it doesn't feel right to me that you've got like a Rails app with like loads of completely unrelated stuff, if that makes sense, like runway configuration and yeah, like
But it's
the GitLab CI YAML and I don't know, just other stuff that's not really part of the Rails app. I like it to be like, here's the Rails app. It's in, you know,
yeah, I see what you mean, but the Rails app and the Vue application, are you using a single Vue application with all the routing done in the Vue application, or it's a mix between backend and
SPA essentially. Yeah.
okay, so then it makes it does make more sense to have those separate, like a backend folder with the all the Rails app and a front end folder with the Vue app.
Yeah, it's not quite how what we've got at the moment, but yeah, that was my
Okay.
intention to be like, okay, well, we've got the back end, the front end, and then like I say, other junk as well. Like the runway configuration, the Docker
Yeah.
configuration, the CI, etc. Everything else can be to one side.
Yeah, because I really didn't have a good look at how it was done. That's why I asked me if it was a single view application or a multiple. Because if
No,
you
it's a good question.
because GitLab, the main GitLab application, you cannot really separate the front end from the back end because they're really tied together. You cannot.
And with the front end composes of like some HAML, some this, some that. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but if you have an SPA only for the front end, yeah, you can get away with that.
There's on this same note, actually, I think I may have been convinced to change some of the like naming conventions. So I've adopted like the GitLab naming conventions. So my view files are in snake case,
Yeah.
and my when I'm using a component, it's in kebab case. But obviously, when you import a component, you import it in Pascal case. So we've got all three different cases, right? And
Yeah.
after speaking to a few people, it sounds like this is a weird GitLab thing. And actually, like in a standard view app, it's standard practices and good or whatever to so use Pascal case for the file name, use Pascal case for the import, and use Pascal case for the actual component reference as well. So I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So I think I'm probably going to end up
Yeah, well,
refactoring all of that as well.
that's yeah, you can totally configure ESLint to have that. It's perfectly fine. Well, let me share my screen because so what would you like to have a look at? Because we can. Do you want to try and set up ESLint and Prettier and see whatever happens? Oh, you disappeared again.
Don't know how to figure out if it's hardware or software problem, to be honest. So yeah, the first question I really want to ask again is: do we really think that Prettier adds any value? Does it do anything that ESLint doesn't, or can we just use one rather than confusing things by having two?
I don't think that ESLint handles things like line width and stuff like that. And if you tie that with Prettier and the VS Code extension for Prettier, you also have formatting when you save the file, for example.
So ESLint definitely can do line length. Let me have a look. ESLint auto fix or auto format, auto fix, VS Code. Yeah, I think I would say let's just focus on ESLint initially
Right.
because one thing I know, and I know it's not overly complex, but I do know that as soon as you introduce Prettier, you then have to make sure you configure ESLint and Prettier to work to play well together.
Yeah.
So I think keep it simple. Let's just look at ESLint to start with.
Okay.
So I guess like I don't know whether it's a case of just picking some rules that we think we want to add. I would have thought out of the box it would use fairly decent. Like I've obviously imported whatever this flat recommended is.
Yeah.
And the only thing I've done is single line HTML element content new line. Right. So I've disabled like imagine if you've got can you do a grep quickly for H1? Not that one, but that one. So that ESLint rule basically, if I hadn't turned it off, it would put the H1 opening tag on a new line, and then the content on a new line, and then the closing tag on a new line.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I like being able to have in certain instances a tag and its content all in line.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Makes
like
perfect.
that. Yeah, seems like a quite an opinionated one to me. I don't know. And then the other thing is, I think just favouring single quotes, and they're
Yeah.
the only customizations that I've made. Um, so yeah, I
I
don't know whether
I wonder if I do this. Come on. This.
There is some code in some of the other view files if you're looking for a bit of JavaScript.
No, I was trying to see if the ESLint server was picking up the because debug console, no, output from ESLint. The server is running, but it's not. I would assume that if I run, let's see if I run, oh, I have to install npm.
No, so what I would suggest we do is do a docker -compose build.
You know that you can also do this with latest version of Docker.
I know that one's Linux and one's Mac. They're different, I think, but they might have updated it so you can do both now.
Yeah. No configuration file provided.
Okay, so move into the contributors, CD into the contributors
Oh yeah,
directory.
there's the Docker file. Contributors, Docker compose build. You do have a Docker file here, but
This is actually the production Docker. It's a bit of a mess at the moment. It's work
okay.
in progress. Work in progress.
Yeah.
Shouldn't take too long to build that.
It depends on my speed.
Oh yeah, internet connection taking a little bit longer than I anticipated.
Well, now I have 200 megs to download.
Oh yeah, what's your connection at home?
I'm not on fiber at home.
Well, meanwhile, should we either start adding some additional rules, or
I
have you got
would.
more sort of questions, or how did you? What's the best way to?
So I would be. Let's see.
Because
Let
I
me
was
have.
looking at your. I've
Yeah.
lost it. What I did with it now, but yeah, I was looking at your front end example to see what other rules I thought. Oh yeah, I like that one. Let's add that one.
Yeah, I would because the example that I sent you is pretty much based on what the GitLab code base uses.
Okay, so
We
I
could
mean,
start from there and tweak it with the things that you want. For example, the file name casing and stuff.
I think I'm going to do the opposite actually, and
Right?
because I think I'd rather use. Well, my understanding is that I'm using the recommended, like basic out of the box config. So I
Yeah.
think I'm just gonna review the GitLab ones or your ones or whatever, and say which, if any, do I want to.
Yeah, because for example, so this is totally unnecessary. Let me zoom in. How can I zoom in?
That's all right. I can see that fine.
So the translation plugin is totally unnecessary for you, at least for
Yep.
now.
Yeah.
That can be removed. This is the main package that has all the GitLab stuff that we can then tweak, but we can have a look because this is then bringing in the another package that I don't remember the name that helps you with file name casing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think what I'd do is I wouldn't import that. I
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't import that, but I'd look in there and have a look what rules that introduces. But like starting sort of moving my way down, the first one I see is this component API style, and it talks about compositions on line 23.
Yeah.
So I definitely would like to enforce use of the composition API rather than the options API.
And
Um,
yeah. Well,
Now, I don't
we can
know.
call it. Let me see if this has completed. No, it's installing. Okay.
Bundle install. It's making good progress.
Yes. But there's one thing for sure. This setup was for the latest version of ESLint before the 9 version.
Yes.
You're
So
using the
we'll need
9.
to do a bit of Googling or a bit of using code completion, code suggestions to help us.
Either
Maybe
that
get
or downgrade to the latest 8 version because not all the
nah.
plugins are up to date, but we can have a look.
Well, the
Uh,
good thing is we got the Vue plugin, I'm fairly sure. And that's the one that does
oh, good
you
point.
run out of memory or something here.
Yep. Uh, that's not good. That's not good. Um, okay, I can go close lag. That's not an issue, but uh, that's not good. Let-
How have you run out of like as in RAM memory? Is that
No, it's disk memory.
disk space? Okay, okay.
Yeah. Um, it might be easier if you set up the project on your end because I need to figure out what to remove.
Well, I think it completed, right? So you should be able to do a Docker Compose up now.
Yes, but it keeps popping up this one, and that's an
Oh, it won't go away. Okay, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Let me just stop my screen share for a
Okay,
sec.
yeah, let me just move all my windows out of the way.
Mm,
Man, I have too much stuff open. Okay. And, and.
I wonder if I can do GDK. What was it? Um,
Uh,
GDK help.
GDK cleanup.
Yeah, that one. GDK cleanup. Let's see if that frees up a little bit of space.
Okay, so I just
I
need
have
to.
I only have 641 megabytes available on the disk.
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I have 8 gigs. Oh, and it's removing Golang, so it's going to free up even more.
Awesome. Right. So what have we got? What have we got? Um, so this is the other thing I really want to get nicely working as well. Like all the like VS Code. I've created a workspace which tells it to basically open the contributors folder like
Yep.
separately because otherwise stuff doesn't work very well. But then that actually was before we Dockerized it. Now it's Dockerized. That might not be as in I don't know. So yeah. So where's our ESLint config is here. So yeah, I wonder whether to get up. ESLint flat recommended. That's not helpful. Yeah, I don't really know what to. So, okay, let's just say an environment. But I don't really care about this environment. I think all I care about is if I connect into the container.
Yeah. I would be tempted to try just to see if that works.
So
To
inside the container, have I got ESLint installed? No, so we need to install it.
and you have to install it every time on the container?
Good question. So if I
Do you want to know how many gigs GDK cleanup freed up?
40.
42.
So if I build, just realised I need to plug my Ethernet cable back in. And then fire back up. So actually, Raymond started looking at something for me. Hopefully, can pick it back up at some point. Um, there's like dev containers, or I think we can leverage that to make some of this a bit more streamlined.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, so extensions. Huh.
Hmm.
Yeah, it looks like
But I think it's something that you can set up on the
in the
config
Docker file,
file.
maybe.
Maybe not in the Docker file, but on the file to tell VS Code. Uh, how did you configure these to open up? Because I know that you can configure VS Code to run inside of containers, and you can maybe also tell it to pre-install some extensions.
I think that's this dev container stuff. Let's not get sidetracked because that like I say, also I'm worried about redoing what Raymond has already done. So we installed ESLint. So I want to like open one of these things, and the first thing I'm interested in is if I use the wrong thing, do I get any underline? Yes, I do. And when I save, does it fix it? Yes, it does. So that's a good start, right?
Yeah. And if you create a long line, is it going to break it down?
Great question. So I haven't configured any rules myself about line length, but
But I guess that's part of the base configuration.
that's something we could check if it doesn't complain.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I save it, it's not doing anything and I can't see any squiggles. So let's have a look. So how would I find the recommended?
Rules reference on the left. It's basically, yeah, that one. Oh, this is the whole list.
Yeah, I just want to find out about the recommended.
The flat recommended.
Maybe the GitHub repo is the best place to find that.
The new config file.
I don't think it'd be so hard to find, would you? Wow, this is a nightmare. Right, GitHub. Recommend. 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 Would you expect it to be the top one?
Oh, okay. So if it's not that easy to see. Line.
Or can I even? No, can't do that. Oh yeah, can do that.
What?
I just right click to go to definition.
Really?
Yep.
So you have to go to the view 3. Oh, but that's from the view recommended.
Is it? Where does it say view?
ES plugin view.
Yes. Yes, you're right. And that's because that's what I'm using. Okay.
Okay, so you have let's see, configuring ESLint.
So I guess I probably want some normal plain non-view stuff as well as view stuff as well. Whereas at the moment I'm only using the view stuff, maybe.
Yep.
Although wouldn't this extend? No, maybe not. I
Yeah,
kind of thought, go on.
that's only applying rules that are specific to Vue, because you can otherwise, if you bring in the Vue plugin, it would configure stuff that's not really important. Like you have to put them together. Like I write a plugin to Vue, I only write rules specific to Vue.
Yeah, although yeah, I thought I followed something to get this set up, and I would have thought that, in my eyes, this should be named a bit differently, like view recommended or view flat recommended. I would almost anticipate that this would import or extend. I mean, there is a whole bunch of stuff that I don't feel like is view related, if that makes sense, but maybe I'm wrong. Like about array bracket new, like, this isn't really
Mm,
view specific stuff, but yeah, it kind of makes sense about adding stuff together. I kind of worry a little bit about how
okay,
how stuff
found it.
overloads and overwrites each other. But anyway, right, what's next?
So you have to install the ESLint, or maybe you already have it. So
I've
you
got
could do,
this.
yeah, go to the ESLint config.js,
Yep.
import JS from at ESLint/JS. You should already have.
I'm going to see if I've got yours open somewhere, and I presume I can steal it from your.
No, that's different because I'm using
Oh,
8.7.
okay. Okay. So sorry, you're saying
Import
import
JS
JS from
ESLint at ESLint with the inside of the quotes. Yeah. ESLint/JS.
/JS like that.
Yeah, exactly. So you then, before bringing in the config from the Vue plugin, you can do js.configs.recommended.
And again, spread or
The example doesn't use a spread.
so the question is,
So those
does
are the recommended generic JavaScript recommended rules from ESLint.
TypeScript, isn't that fun? This looks like basically an interface to me, like not an actual.
Yeah, because that's the DTS, and it's only the interface declaration.
Not helpful for me then.
So if you want to have a list, if you go to the ESLint website and you go to the rules reference page that we were before,
Yeah.
basically that's enabling all the rules that have the white check mark.
Oh, like these are default ones, are they, or something?
ED length, but I don't see any rule about length or width.
So let's try and look for. I want to basically try and
Oh,
break
found it.
something deliberately and see if it flags now and doesn't before. So
Max
trying to figure.
length is deprecated.
Okay.
So why they deprecated it? Please use the corresponding rule in stylistic ESLint plugin JS. What? So you have to install a plugin.
Right.
I'm sending you the page.
Okay, so here's a simple way that I think maybe I could test. Using and that's coming from ESLint, no const to sign, awesome. But if I was to remove this, save that, then it's happy with that, awesome. So it's definitely a
It's
good improvement. So can I'm gonna see how many violations if it works. So we've introduced a bunch of warning. Oh no, these are all still view ones. So I'm surprised that there aren't any violations of any of the default rules already. Let me just add this back in, rerun that. It might be possible because there's so little JavaScript in here at the moment, and maybe my JavaScript skills are so amazing that I've not violated. That's yeah, very little chance of that, right? But it seems to be the case, which surprises me.
Yeah. So that's good. If you want to have stylistic rules, so basically that's what pre-tier was about, you have to install the other plugin that I sent you the link on the Zoom chat.
Okay, so again, can I see the rules to try and so what is this? What are these two columns?
I don't know.
This
The
rule
rule
is included. This rule has an autofix. Cool.
Yeah.
I thought I saw.
Because basically before version 9, ESLint had a bunch of rules that they then divided into sub packages that you can import when you need it.
Gotcha. So I think, but I could be wrong. Let's have a look. That a lot of these stylistic rules are actually part of the view.
Could be.
Yeah. So I think that view. I don't know if you've looked at it, but somewhere I don't know view. Is quite like how a lot of languages it's down to you to come up with your
Yep.
like, oh, how are we going to do this, how are we going to do that. I think they're quite sort of, I don't know, subjective, I don't know, opinionated, I think is the
Yeah.
term I
Yeah.
was looking for. Anyway, okay, so I feel like that's helped, right? That's added a bit more even though it surprises me that it's not flagging anything at the moment. It's all good.
I would be interested into adding the stylistic rule, the package
Okay.
enabling that. Maybe that's going
Uh,
to raise a little bit more.
and then I'll see whether I like it or not, right?
Yeah. If you scroll up the page, you have the install command.
Oh, so I actually need to install. And then presumably I also need to import it.
Yep. I'll be right back. One second.
Okay, nice. Oh, 0. 66 and 81. Nice. Hmm. So what have we ended up with? New package.
And I'm back.
All right. It found one which I like actually. It fixed so see this curly
Yep.
brace indentation was wrong and
Yep.
this one was wrong. But I'm surprised a little bit because typically I've closed all the files now. But if we look at the view, actually has HTML indent and script indent, but I don't really know what that
Mm.
enforce consistent indentation. So I don't know if that's like if if I used a tab instead of a space, or I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
probably something
I
like that.
just I'm a little bit I don't know what the word is, like conscious, worried, whatever, about having like this now is a bit in my eyes like just mushing three things together and just hoping for the best in what happens, if you know what I mean. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
very methodical or scientific, but um it's all good. So line length, I mean, I'm sort of a bit like I sort of think that's a bit of a personal preference, because there's nothing worse than, in Ruby when you find yourself having to do slightly hacky things because you're like, oh, I'm 2 characters over, so I need to um like actually rework the way something. Yeah, it's just a bit weird sort of thing. But the one that I did say about was definitely about like forcing use of like the composition API and yeah, looking at a few other. So I think
Well, you
looking
can
at
enforce that
yeah,
using the plugin.
but that's where I was because I was seeing your one. I don't know what the best way is. So you had this in your roles.
Yeah,
So
because
if I search for this,
yeah,
it'll tell me how to use it. It's not the view ones. Where would I find the ESLint? So this rule aims to make the API style used to define view consistent.
yep. And you can then configure it, telling it what are enabled or not.
Okay, so need to look at options. So it basically says
And
error,
you want to allow. So basically, if you want
error,
only to allow, yeah,
and
because
okay.
it's going to error unless you're using one of the provided
So script setup will allow.
only script setup.
Well, yeah, but that's fine. So I want to allow that, which is good. Um, composition we want to allow. Options is what I don't want, I think, right? That's the old school way of
Which I actually prefer.
um
Well, you can try creating a view component with the option API.
yeah, if I could remember. So that's probably the easiest way to do it, right? If I just add a setup a script to
Yep.
something like this. Whoops. Oh god. Script. I can't actually remember export default,
Yeah. Open. Yeah. Name.
something like that. Now I would have expected already a red underline there.
Yeah. Let's try running. Hmm.
So reread this. So all right, defines API styles you want to allow. So there's a number of things. It's probably not this, but one possibility is that none of these files are actually being linted. I can't. What was the one that I? This was the one that I tested, and it definitely was, wasn't it? Username equals Bob.
Hmm.
Oh no, that's not even flagging anymore. I thought it was earlier though.
And if you run, there's one thing that you can do. If you go to the
Okay. Okay, so that is
go to the output tab on the terminal. No, that does look okay. There's an error. Cannot find package ESLint plugin JS. Probably you have to restart the ESLint. You can do Command Shift P. ESLint restart ESLint server. Oh, you have to change it back on the output to ESLint because that disappeared.
cool.
Okay.
So good. So it's complaining about that.
Yeah.
It's not complaining about this still at the moment.
Yeah. But it is complaining about ESLint config.js.
Nice.
Okay. But I don't think that was the issue.
No. Let's just check the output again. Okay, so it's happy. Oh, where's that? I feel like again, is this then being imported from one of the other
Could be.
configs?
Could be probably
This
the
one.
don't think that one. I'm
Okay.
more wondering about the Vue plugin actually, but not really sure.
Doesn't
Uh,
matter too much. Okay, but why is it not usage component star? Why is that not? Just checking my like syntax, etc. Like app JavaScript, and then that should do all subfolders, and then all JavaScript and view files. That looks okay to me. But let's try doing a thing that I know that will yeah, so I don't know.
yeah. No,
So
it's
it's
not
not
being okay.
flagging that, is it?
Yep.
So it's almost like the path.
App JavaScript pages. Ah, this is complaining.
Definitely seems like the UI is a bit sort of. Do you know what I mean? VS Code decides when it does and doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it is flagging it. So I don't think there was anything.
Okay. So
But it's
that's
still not picking up on the use of the options API, is it?
yeah. View. Yes. Let's see.
So just go. Okay, so we told it, yeah, so with options enabled, default data. So setup is bad, but with composition, oh, it doesn't actually give us that.
If you want to allow only script setup and composition API, this is default for this rule. Okay, so that's the default. Is that rule also recommended?
So do you think if I remove the optional, we're sort of thinking it should behave in the same way anyway, right?
Yeah. So 2, 3 indicates that you were included in. Okay, so in the 3, and the name was, what was the name of the
The
rule?
raw component
Component
API style.
component API style. Okay, so it's not enabled by default, but you can, if you remove the optional, the array parameter. Oh, you already did it. Mm.
Oh, wait a minute. Did I add this? I don't remember adding this. Have I gone
Um,
insane?
I don't remember. I was in the call. I wasn't looking.
I yeah, okay, yeah. It's part of
Yeah,
the cool. Yeah.
but still, why is it not complaining about the style?
What if I do options? So now,
Oh wow!
okay, so it's working that way around. So now if I do composition,
It's not just composition.
yeah, no, script setup, I think it said, didn't it? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's happy. But
Why?
then it's, yeah.
Try to move that file to the same folder as navigation menu. What?
I don't think it's that. Define the API styles you want to allow. So, yeah,
User guide. Install. So you install the ESLint plugin view.
I just think it's a bug, if I'm honest.
It could be. Flat recommended JS config. Okay. See, the rule is to get the configs and rules that this plugin provides. So the recommended essential. Because that rule is part of the uncategorized rules.
See if there's actually an example. Test.view, script setup, test.yes.
Oh,
What have you seen?
so on the example, they are
Yeah,
if you want to allow only script setup and the composition API, which is the default for this rule,
yeah.
that's what. Try to add a data section to the component.
You think it's specifically looking for, yeah. So it's not this that it's looking for.
Yeah. So probably that's still I'm not really sure because there are so many different, well, not that many, but if you go to Vue.js, there
You
are
think
different.
that must still be valid in certain.
Yeah, because docs guide options and composition. So options API is the old one that we are used to use. Oh, yeah, because you can have the export default and a setup function inside of that.
Okay. 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 So I wonder whether I just whiz for a few more. Where did we get to? I had your one open. So no multiple template root, no V for template, multi-word component names, no default export, prefer promise with no unused vars. I wonder if that's a default where I should be even looking, if you know what I mean. Maybe in here, unused. No unused vars, looks like it might be there. Um, yeah, that looks like it's erroring.
Yep. So I guess it is pretty much good out of the box.
No continue. Consistent test. Yeah, oh, that's actually jest rule. I'm not using jest. So I could potentially see if there's an ESLint via test.
Oh, you're using Vitest?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that's a good idea? Should I bosh that on and see if it adds
I don't
any?
know. I never used V tests.
Uh, oh, ESLint. That one. So yeah, this is where I get a bit more confused about like. So I need to then define that it's specifically for. I only want it to apply to specs, if you know what I mean. So I need the import.
Yeah, because if you want to only apply those rules to the test files, yes.
So I basically need a whole new section
Yeah.
like this.
Yes. Do you have also Ruby test inside of the spec
I
file?
do, yeah.
So probably a good idea to only filter by JavaScript files.
So somewhere I think I've got my. It will always be .js, I guess, with the spec.
Yep.
Um, so
So you have all the recommended rules and then
just giving an example, isn't it? Yeah. So
yep.
yeah, let's see if the recommended rules flags.
Well, it wouldn't have done anything.
So I need to somewhere. So do you think I need to bosh in here?
Mm,
App/JavaScript.
I mm, I'm not really sure because if you do that, you're not going to check for
Oh yeah, you actually want to lint everything with the yeah, no, that's fair. Um, so where
so you could try.
I
Oh,
think I've defined that in my
package.
yeah, yeah. That's it. Can you just pass two paths or
In theory,
to be fair, spec/JavaScript that should do. Let's see what happens. Also, I wasn't linting the specs at all anyway, so a bit of a faux pas.
oh yeah.
So now I need to tell, I'm sure whether
It was the globals for. Oh no, that for jest. Um,
there was somewhere where I had to define. I wonder if it's this. I'm not sure. Um, oh, it's bad. It looks like I'm using it. Ah,
ESLint we just it's not defined.
EMV just true. I guess there's something similar, but not exactly the same. So where have I got?
Oh, so you have to provide the VTest.
Oh, Do you know what? I got a bit. I didn't get very far with this. Maybe if I read a bit further, do you think
No,
it would?
that's for the no, I just had a look at there. Um,
Okay, cool.
go up a little bit. Up, 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 up. Okay.
Ah, something like
But this is
this.
for the old version files, plugins, rules, settings, language options. So those are the settings for those matching files. It should give you only the
I
oh,
think that should. I'm just gonna try.
uh,
Just gonna try that quickly.
yeah.
Oh, I noticed that white space isn't getting. So maybe that's a more of a prettier thing, but
No, it should be a rule for that as well. Maybe on the stylistic thingy.
that's helped. That's
Global,
helped.
global is not defined. How are you using global?
You tell me. It's quite cool. Well, I thought it was quite cool anyway. Whether this is completely dreadful and maybe there's a simpler, better, sure there is. Um, but yeah, basically we're setting this global.fetch.
Oh,
Um,
that's only used
flat.
for the fetch.
I think you can use it elsewhere. That's all I'm using it for at the moment. Sort of
Yeah.
a mock-in type. There must be a slightly different approach. Let me just have a look. So I'm doing some other mocking here, but I don't know that I ever actually call. Yeah, I need to look into that a little bit. That's fine. I can do that as a sort of follow up, so to speak,
Mhm.
unless it gives me a no. Uh, so there was something I forget. I just had a brainwave and I've forgotten what it was now. Um, no, I don't really remember. That feels like pretty good progress. So, so it was yeah, it was white space, wasn't it? So the first thing is this isn't in the path to be linted, right? Um, but then it should show. Let me what's it package.json.
Uh,
Am I better off just doing all JS and view files
yeah,
or
probably.
not? Or is that going to go into like Node?
Oh, but yeah.
I see what crazy stuff comes up when I do that, and then rapidly change my mind. Yeah, the fact that it's taken a really long time, but
Yeah.
you can exclude. I'm sure you can exclude, can't you?
Oh, yeah. 14,000 errors. Yeah.
Let's just undo. In fact, I'm not even sure that I do want this to be linted, or do I?
What? The tests?
The eslint.config.js.
Uh, well, you can exclude it.
Well, but do you know what I mean? Like, what's the point in including it only to exclude it? I'm just trying to think if there's anything else.
Okay, so that's working for the local JS
So
file.
dir name is the only.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, because that's a Node.js thingy.
I don't know. I suspect you can do something similar. Where did we do something similar to this? Yeah, to basically like, let's have a look what this is.
So
Perfect. So I could just add globals, I reckon, or global. Yeah, global. if I want to allow that, I might find it's a terrible idea. But what was the style? I can't remember now. Global true.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, wow, that worked.
Why do you sound so surprised? uh,
Because I don't know how that works.
well, basically, we're splatting this, right? So it
Yeah,
sort of makes sense.
that works. I don't know how the globals thingy works on
Well, I guess we're just adding a. Why would it maybe not?
because you have to create, and that's only targeting the files inside of the spec folder.
Aha, good spot, good spot. Um,
You can have another rule only for the root JS
yeah,
folder,
yeah,
JS
yeah.
files.
Or even more specific, maybe for just v.config. This is probably a terrible way of doing it, but I will still pass this for scrutiny or whatever the term is that I'm looking for. This is just us learning as we go.
I think,
Nice.
yeah. The only thing left is the file naming convention.
And the white space. I'd really love to do the white space first, I think.
White space at the end, you mean?
Trailing space, yeah.
Yeah. No trading spaces. I suppose this has been deprecated and moved to stylistic. Yes.
Did it say that? Oh, yeah.
Not sure.
So I just need to enable that.
These are all stylistic things that there are not that many rules, so probably worth giving it a look.
So how do so I take that, go in here, I take that.
And just put error.
As an array.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
uh,
Oh, I see two errors inside of this file.
awesome.
Yay.
There I tried. Do you remember how just like that with that?
Should work.
Very
Hmm.
conscious of not having a
It doesn't work probably because yarn npm doesn't pass in the arguments.
yeah. So what
You
is
can
npm is running
uh,
that? Yeah.
you
So is
uh, don't run that on the console because it's not going to work.
npm ESLint, is it? Or I don't
Uh,
even know how you
Go copy line 29, 20 line, and add
lint fix.
exactly, and call it lint column fix, for example. Otherwise, switch to yarn and you can use yarn lint and then
uh,
did it work?
I see a whole bunch of yeah.
Yep. Yep.
The good thing about that as well is that CI should now automatically fail, I guess, because hopefully in my GitLab CI
You have a lint job.
should do.
Markdown lint. ESLint. Yes.
Yeah, love it. So it's trailing spaces, and you said one more file names.
Yeah. And if you want to fix my OCD, put the rules together on the ESLint config. view near view, ESLint near ES stylistic.
Yeah. Alphabetical as well.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Well, at least within. Oh, and I still did it wrong. What did I do?
You
Pasted it
weren't.
in
Yeah, you weren't on
random.
fine.
STQRS.
Arguably, you have a net symbol at the beginning of the stylistic rules. So if you want to really make it, but
Oh yeah,
let's not go down that route.
yeah. Let's go down that one. Right. So, this is what I don't like as well, where you've got mixed. Like, I'm tempted, assuming it works, to do like that.
I am
Or
pretty sure that there's a stylistic rule for quotes
oh, okay.
because the quotes are kind of a stylistic thingy. So I'm pretty sure there's a rule for that.
It's weird that it's. I wonder where this is actually. I don't know where it's coming from, but anyway. Yeah, you were saying file naming. Sorry. So, is that in stylistic or?
You can have a look. I'm not sure. Mm,
Look like it. Plugin just for that.
Unicorn.
Excuse me.
Yeah, there's a plugin named ESLint plugin Unicorn that has a
Okay.
look for file name case.
And we think that's better. Let me have a look. What's this one that I've got here? Plugin file name rules. So 100,000 weekly downloads. Don't know how well maintained it is until we have a quick look. 2 years ago, not well maintained.
Yep. Yes,
This
module.
one has doesn't say how many weekly downloads. That's interesting. Updated 16 hours ago, much better.
Oh, well, yeah, Unicorn. Yeah, it's used. And you also have the install command. You can remove. That's the configuration from the package.json. If you go to the GitHub page for that project, there's more up-to-date README with the ES module recommended way of setting that up.
So, but then I've got to go through and pick which rules I
Yeah,
want.
you can have a look at the rules. The one that you're interested in now is called file file name case. Let me send you the link.
Yeah, I'm a little bit dubious about the amount. Like, I'd almost like to say, well, if we're using these 17 rules, just take them and like, I worry about installing all these packages a little bit and only using a small bit of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but if you go to if you want to have a look at the GitLab plugin, that it's a composition of many other plugins that's
True.
bringing in the Airbnb plugin, which then brings in Unicorn plugin and another bunch. So don't really worry about that.
uh, so we're saying bringing the plug in.
Yeah. Hopefully this is compatible um, with this one.
And bring in the. That's interesting.
I wouldn't. That's probably needed for other rules.
Ignore that, you think.
Yeah. Try just to enable the rule that I sent you. Yeah, that one.
And this one. So that'll be file name dash case. And where did it say unicorn? Well, that's interesting. Oh, my brain.
And then there's Pascal case, I guess you want.
I've got to pass it argument. Oh,
I guess you have examples there. Okay.
it's interesting that this is a object rather than an array. I'm a bit sort of
Different plugin creators. And I really have to go. Whoa.
okay. Thanks very much for your help, Marco.
No worries. I'm just curious to see this one working.
Oh, okay.
If it
Um,
works. Pascal K is true, all the others false, I guess, by default.
but how will it? I guess it can't visually. Although sometimes when you're in
No,
something,
yeah, that the first
yeah,
line. Yeah, that's working. Yay.
awesome. Would you expect like? Would you make this? Oh no, actually, I want camel. I don't want Pascal, do I? Or do I? No. Oh God. Um,
Naming things is hard.
yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I think Pascal's all right. For
yeah,
components, maybe.
yeah, I
I
would go
might I
Pascal.
might need different rules for different folders or something like that. Like the components might need to be Pascal case and
Oh yeah. Well, you can override rules only for sensitive folders. So,
absolutely. Awesome. Thanks very much for your help, Marco. Have a great afternoon.
yeah, you as well.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye.